talk. Live one-on-one conversation, 30 minutes of pure entertainment with musicians, writers, and actors to motivators, chefs, and even rappers to up-and-comings with the it factor. It's the Jazzie K. Ward coming at ya. Have fun, some smiles, a few laughs. Tune in, chime in, sit back, relax. Have fun, some smiles, a few laughs.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jazzie K. Ward. I hope you guys had a great weekend. You know, I'm always looking forward to the show Artist Talk because you never know who's going to be on the show. You never know what kind of conversations we're going to have, but I am so excited. This is a very dear friend of mine that I have known for over 20 years. And finally, we have the opportunity. So shame on me for just having this brother on the show, right? Shame on me. But I wanted to share something with you all before we get started. So you may have saw on my post. So this weekend, well, last week, I was excited I was relatively surprised, y'all. So Alabama State University, 90.7, of course, we're celebrating 40 years on the airways. And out of that 40 years, I had the honor and the privilege to serve 29 years. So I received this honor and I was so excited and I wanted to share that with you guys too. So while we're doing that, don't forget to go over to K Ward Radio, which is my YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. kwardradio.com is the website. Make sure you subscribe to that. And if you don't do any of that, as we say on the show, shame on you. So tonight, if you don't know Lawrence Jackson Jr., shame on you. This is a young brother. He has that it factor. We're going to have some great conversation. So, you know, instead of doing all the talking right now, let's go ahead and kick off the show right now.
Live from WKRW, welcome to Artist Talk, a live one-on-one conversation with your host, the man with the golden voice, Jazzie K. Ward.
Hey, y'all, welcome back to the show. Happy Monday. A lot's been going on in the news this weekend, but, you know, we're not going to talk about the politics and the stuff about that. I see people coming in the room. Hey, Jeffrey. Hey, Tori. Don't forget to share the video, share the live. We're streaming on Facebook. We're streaming on kwardradio.com. Also, we're streaming on Soul TV and our YouTube channel. So for wherever you are watching across the world, thank you so much for tuning into this very important show, this conversation that just simply needs to be had, right? It's a special episode of Artist Talk where we discuss how preparedness brings peace of mind, ensuring every farewell is handled with dignity and grace. And that's what my friend, President and CEO Lawrence Jackson, that's what he does each and every day for our family, our friends, our loved ones, and people that we hold dear to us. And before we get started, I'm just going to give you a little information about our guest tonight, Mr. Lawrence Jackson. He's a native of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. How you doing, baby? He served as a member of the United States Armed Reserve. He began his studies in computer science at Southern University, and he then completed the computer programming curriculum at Camelot Community College. Now, Lawrence began his career in the funeral industry in 1996. He is licensed by the Alabama Board of Funeral Services as a licensed funeral director. Mr. Jackson's determination and motivations have always been inspired by his mother, as well as his friends and family, who have been leading examples of persistence through his adversity. He believes that excellence makes the difference, often stating, "Rise to the top because the bottom is too crowded." He gives precedence to Isaiah 40 and 31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Mr. Lawrence E. Jackson Jr. is a pioneer for excellence in the funeral service profession. He's also served as a music director for several ministries. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's welcome the Artist Talk President and CEO of Jackson Professional Services, Mr. Lawrence Jackson. Hello, my friend, Mr. Jackson. How you doing, sir?
Hey, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing good. Aren't you looking sharp over there?
That's what you think.
You're looking good.
Work.
I know you've been working hard, but I wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to have a conversation with your friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. Let me also say congratulations to you on that accomplishment. You have been serving the community for almost 3 decades now. So that's a big milestone.
Yeah, I appreciate that, my friend. And congratulations to you on your business. And, you know, I could share so many funny stories, right, about Lawrence. I know he started this business in the funeral home business back in 1996. But I have to share some little stories about that. Maybe, hopefully,
my age.
a little later in the show. But I wanted to say congratulations on your event. Tell us about what happened on yesterday.
So on yesterday, we celebrated moving to our new location. Here in Montgomery, we're 3 times bigger. We can accommodate even more now. And at that same time, I also took that opportunity to dedicate the chapel by honoring my mother, Mrs. Alfreda Smith Jackson. Wow. She's been a rock and a source of strength and endurance for me all of my life. Okay. And I felt it no less than appropriate to make sure that she knows that she's loved. Wow. And I did remind her, the chapel may be named after you, but this is still my funeral home.
But that sounds just like you, Lawrence. And I'm sure she gave you some choice words maybe a little later.
Kind of, sort of.
Kind of, sort of. I love that. I love Miss Jackson. Hey, Sheila. Hey, everybody, tonight, welcome to Artist Talk. Again, our special guest tonight is Lawrence Jackson Jr., who's president and CEO of Jackson Professional Funeral Services. But before we get into the grit of everything, y'all. So, Lawrence, I do this segment on the show, and it's called The Real You. So I'm just going to ask you, well, you know, you don't have to give the real you, right?
Well, I don't mind. Real is real.
Your real is real. So my first question is what were you like in high school?
I was a ratchet nerd.
A ratchet nerd.
I grew up tall, skinny, dark skinned, picked on.
Okay. Okay.
But I was intelligent.
Okay.
Um, and life just at that time was just what it was. I
Okay.
wasn't the popular kid. I was just going through.
You're just going through.
So
Okay.
that was high school.
That was high school. Uh, my second question, can you give me a few things that you can't live without? Just three
Whew.
things.
Not that it's a thing, but first and foremost, I can't live without Christ. Secondly, I can't live without the love of my family.
Okay.
If there was a third thing, I can't think of anything that's
Okay.
not tangible.
Not tangible. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's right. That's real. He's keeping it real, y'all. He's keeping it real. Uh, my last question is, what's your favorite song to dance to and why?
Probably the electric slide.
Oh God. Okay. Okay. Tell us why. Why the electric slide?
That's what I knew growing up.
Okay.
And I got my little two-step. I watched my parents dance growing up, and my dad was a dancer. He could
Okay.
really get down, and I can dance. But you asked me to keep it. I'm going to answer your question directly. The electric slide would probably be my favorite because in my sleep I know the steps.
Okay. Because I'm trying to see, could I remember you dance? And I was like, I didn't think you was a good dancer.
You didn't see me dance.
Just like I didn't think you see you dance. That's funny, but I love that song, The Electric Slide, y'all. So that wasn't too bad, was it?
No, no.
Okay. So again, everyone, the website to Lawrence's business will be streaming at the bottom of the screen. If you have questions for our guest tonight, please make sure you put those in the comments section, and we will do our best to answer those. So tonight, Lawrence, I wanted to do this topic because I think it's very important for people to understand when it comes to the funeral home business. Uh, it's a business, right? And we at some point, we all are going to have to go there. We may not know it, but we all are going to have to go through this. So I wanted for people who are watching this to go back and be able to talk about this with their families, friends, and loved ones about the funeral home business. Because it's more than just someone pass away, you go, and it's over. It's a process, a business process of going into this. And so going back a little bit, we had this, which is still around, called the pandemic. And I can only imagine during that time, with you being the funeral director, what was life like for you during that time of the pandemic?
It was scary because most people didn't know much about it. It was a new illness, and we didn't know really how you could get it and whatnot. So all types of precautions were made. Thankfully, through the grace of God and technology, it's not as bad as it once was a few years ago. But during that time, actually, the time we opened was during the beginning of the pandemic. And it was a scary season, not just, as a matter of fact, our first funeral was nuts. And that's because we just didn't know what we didn't know.
Okay. Okay. That's so were you prepared to handle the amount of maybe calls or that was happening at the time
Well,
that you
yeah,
did
my
that?
background in the medical field. Oh, yeah, we were prepared to handle it. We had several, quite a few actually, and we were prepared to handle it. My background in the medical field had already equipped us for communicable diseases. And then
Okay.
also the state had sent us a lot of info. Well, what they knew, they shared,
Okay.
and so we did everything we could to protect ourselves and our clients and the guests at services
Okay.
during that time.
Okay. And so just to go back a little bit so people can know about you a little bit long. First of all, what made you want to go into the funeral services?
So they ask you when you're in school, what do you want to be when you grow up? So
Right.
I had to find something fancy. People wanted to be doctors and lawyers, something common. I wanted to be an archaeologist.
Okay.
But by the time I matured enough, King Tut had already been discovered. Whereas I wanted to go dig up fossils and find mummies and stuff. That didn't work out, but I started reading a lot about embalming and the principles and practices of embalming. Then it got to a point, even as a musician, playing for so many funerals, I started helping out at the funeral home and did not know that I had possessed a gift that would be developed to present day where I am now.
Oh, wow. Wow. I was going to ask you that because a lot of times, when people grow up, I was wondering, like, back in the day, did you have a parent, a grandparent, or aunt, or uncle that was in the funeral business?
No, I wasn't strange. They thought it strange because I was able to draw caskets. And I did that a lot. I was drawing caskets for some reason, learning how to play an organ and the keyboard,
Right.
and reading books. But you just don't know what you don't know. You don't know why you're doing things and end up, they make a very fruitful life for you.
Right. That's true. That's true. And you being also a minister of music, I'm sure that helps as well, being in the funeral services business.
It does. It does. That I end up playing for a lot of the funerals.
Wow.
I don't like to get up and down like that, but often I have to. If they don't have anybody to play or sing,
Okay.
I go up there and do what I got to do.
I understand. And so kind of getting into the grits of things, when we talk about the funeral services, what does the funeral home handle, and what can we do ourselves to make sure we are prepared before we come see you, the families?
The key thing to do, I'm trying to make sure I answer it in order. So the key thing to do in order to prepare to see a funeral home, you need to kind of know what you want to do beforehand.
Okay.
As sure as we're born, we're going to leave here.
Right.
And the best thing is, we prepare for school, we prepare for weddings, we prepare for babies to be born, but nobody or very few want to prepare for their funeral,
Right.
which is important. It's just as much a part of life as everything else.
Right.
So that a person won't be dumbfounded or not know what to expect. You need to talk with your favorite funeral director, or even us, to
Right.
help guide you, because you don't want to make a decision at need. It's just like when you're buying a car, you go look and test drive a few of them, you go home and you kind of think about, okay, I like this one versus that one.
Right.
Do the same thing with preparing for your final need, taste, and your budget, and then make a decision. Walk away with peace of mind, knowing that should you close your eyes, it's all. If I talk to somebody about it, that something's going to happen. That's not so. It's just
Okay.
being prepared.
Okay. And so I like that you mentioned about, like, we go pick out cars. So a person can actually just come into the funeral home and you have a variety of caskets there, and they can, like, choose all of that.
Oh yeah, they can choose them. They can pick everything. We're quite traditional, non-traditional. We try to service every request. Some people may think that is taboo, but I believe in memorializing people for who they are or who they were when they lived. So long we've gone to funerals and everybody's in a suit, in a casket.
Right.
But the thing is, people didn't live that way. But you can't tell one memorial service from the next. Just like you would have a coordinator to coordinate your wedding. I guess I'm the funeral coordinator.
Right.
Try to personalize it to who that person is. I mean, if a person did not go to church, as I do and many others do, I would not encourage you to put them in a suit and do all of that, because it doesn't make a difference now. Right. And if you want to have a funeral that reflects their lives, plan.
Right. That's right. Well, that it's a little challenging when you say, Lawrence, because as you know, when it comes to, I would say, the African American community, it seems like it's hard for us to sit down and have those conversations about a funeral, and then we seem to wait to the very last minute to try to prepare those things. Why do you think so?
I think we have not been taught to do that. We're creatures of habit. We learn from our parents, they learn from theirs. And if they didn't do it, we don't. Cultural when it comes to having funerals. We bear all races, all cultures.
Right.
I mean, we do it all. What I see is lacration. Not all the time. Some of them are on point. But then we have some that are just so afraid to deal with it.
All right.
Then you come in, we don't have the money to finance our desires, and we go broke in a sense sometimes, trying to have a funeral.
That's true. And I mean, I've seen it with several families, and I think we all have done that before. So there's a question here for you, Lawrence. How would you recommend starting a conversation about such an important topic?
I would, your funeral director. They'll call me if you don't have one. Just like you choose a doctor, a dentist. Choose a funeral home that you trust. But just about any of them can service your needs. Some people go to others out of tradition. That's what they've been doing for a spectrum of, and so we lend ourselves to offer that to people. So to answer your question, you need to pick up the phone and call.
Okay.
Call someone, making a point to you in, and go over who it is you're planning for, and try to help you find a way to create a service. You're younger, many options, right. And we don't take in with. Some people come in with no insurance or a small amount of insurance. We don't understand the difference between burial insurance and life insurance.
Right.
Burial insurance is to get you in the ground or get you cremated. Life insurance is for your living. You need to be informed on that. A lot of people, they just do things traditionally. They just, okay, I got some life insurance. I got $5,000-$10,000. After that, what do you have?
Right. That's true. And you hold that topic, because I want to dive into that a little bit better, Lawrence, on that. So what we're going to do, for those who are tuning into the show, I'm Jazzie K. Ward, your host. Our special guest tonight is President and CEO Lawrence Jackson Jr. of Jackson Professional Services. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to have Mind, Body, and Soul with Dr. Chantel Graham. And then we're going to have more conversations with Lawrence Jackson right here on Artist Talk.
Good day, good people. It's your girl, Dr. G from the App Life. Hope you all are doing well. Come on into the room. Let's get this health tip. Normally, I talk about physical health things that we can do to make ourselves better, look better, feel better. Today, we're going to talk about following our dreams, and that's part of our mental health. A lot of us here are, independent artists, whether it be that we're a singer, we're a songwriter, we're dancers, we're vocalists, we play instruments. Now, in my heart, I am a singer and songwriter. Y'all know I sing very well. Well, maybe not so well, but but I'm going to still keep doing it in the shower, loud, vibrant, and doing my thing. But seriously, A lot of times when it comes to us not following our dreams and our hearts, it's because we face these fears, and the fears comes in these things I like to call the 4 R's. One being ruin. We think that we're going to ruin it, that we're going to mess it up. You're not going to ruin it. You're going to continue to do what you're doing and be authentically you. Part of the time we have, when it comes to that thing where we're going to mess it up, it's because you're trying to be somebody else. You are uniquely you. Follow your style, follow your heart. That's what you're going to do. The next R I like to talk about is responsibility. You feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. You're responsible for everybody. You are responsible for you. You are responsible for you, and that's it. How you react to things and how you act to things. That's it, okay? The next R we talk about is rejection. Again, we fear that we're going to be rejected. They're not going to like me. I don't look like so-and-so. I don't sound like so-and-so. Or we had that thing where they want to do the comparison where you sound just like this or you sound just like that. No, you keep doing you, you keep being you, and you'll be all right. It may not come as fast as you want, but it will come. You have to stick to it because you're right there. You're right there. The last thing is regret, because it's going to be a matter of, why didn't I do it sooner? If I did it before, it'd have been better. If I did it. Listen, when it comes to stuff like that and say, if I did it sooner or different, it would have been better. That's not necessarily true. There's only a 33% chance that it would have turned out better. Because A, it could have turned out the same. B, it could have turned out worse. And C, it could have turned out better. So it's only 1/3 of a chance that it would have turned out better. So stick with that. Because sometimes we have those 4 R's and then we get zapped. We get zapped by our stuff. Now, Chantel loves to give little acronyms. So what is zap? Zap is when you start with zooming. You zoom in on the negative and you talk yourself out of it. Don't do that. And then once you start to zoom in, you're going to attach yourself to that negative energy and go in your mind and play over again. What if this doesn't happen? What if they this? What if they that? If was a fifth, we would all be drunk every day, all day. So we're not going to do that. And then P. P can stand for quite a few things. It could stand for procrastination. It could stand for pause. It could stand for just not getting together and fulfilling your purpose. So stick to it. You got this, okay? Sometimes you need a little coach, a little pushing. You can always contact me at Dr. Graham at theapplife.info, DrGrahmTheApplife. Y'all know I'm there. Throw a little thing in there for me. But seriously, reach out to me, email me, get a coach, do something. The same way you book time to get up and eat, to shower and shave, put time in for your craft. Say I'm going to take an hour and start with posting my stuff on social media or practicing my instrument or practice singing or practice writing. Make time for it because you are worth it and you got this, okay? Take care. See you soon.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Jazzie K. Ward. My special guest is President and CEO, Mr. Lawrence Jackson Jr., who is owner of Jackson Professional Services. That's the website there. Make sure you go to the website. You can also follow him on his Facebook page at Jackson Professional Services. Make sure you like the page and share the page. And if you don't, shame on you. And so before we went into commercial break there, Lawrence, we were talking about when it comes to kind of the financial part of it. And you were talking about, well, the legal documents, barrier insurance, life insurance. Could you please explain all of that again for us?
So the difference, a lot of people don't know the difference between burial insurance or life insurance. We think when we get some burial insurance, that's going to take us through because it's usually inexpensive, and that's not true. Um, we need to understand that burial insurance is for burial or cremation, whichever you choose.
Okay. Are you there, Lawrence? I thought I lost you.
I am here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's like your internet or Wi-Fi was kind of going out, so we just didn't. It just stopped talking. Have you tried to maybe turn
Wow.
your Wi-Fi off?
The devil.
The devil is always busy, my friend. And for everybody that's on this live,
Yes,
let
he
me.
is.
Okay. Let us know if you can hear us. Okay. Anybody that is watching, I see there's like 35 people on. So can you see or hear me, Lawrence?
Hello?
Hello. They say it's a
That
slight
dude.
delay. Okay, so that's fine. It's I can hear. Okay, so people say they can hear. Okay, that's good, Lauren. So when you were talking about, so when they have these documents, is this something that needs to be done before they come see you, or is this something the funeral home can help you with?
Oh, the funeral home, I can speak for us. We're definitely equipped to help you with wills, estates,
Okay.
insurance, pre-need. All of that stuff is imperative to do before a person gets to a point where they're about to transition.
Okay.
Rather than put yourself through that stress when you actually have lost someone, you
Okay.
should make sure you go in and talk to someone. That way, everything is covered should that happen.
Okay. Okay. And you mentioned, well, during our conversation that we had, I know you're licensed in the state of Alabama, but can you do funerals all over the US, or how does that work?
So we bury, yeah, well, I try not to go that far away, from Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, and of course, all of Alabama. If you check my website, we've been all of those places by request. And any further than that, we prefer to ship to another funeral provider that we would trust and recommend to you. So yeah, we go all over.
Okay. And so explain something to me. So when you have a family that comes into your office and they need to talk and prepare, but say, for example, their finances are really not together. So some people have the understanding, oh, we can't afford a funeral, or we have to have so much money up front. How does that work? Can you explain it?
Well, we make sure we provide options that can fit every budget. That's what's important. We're not going to, of course, people know that funerals are what they consider expensive.
Right.
They're only expensive if you haven't prepared for them.
Right.
We have options to try to fit every situation, from traditional funeral and burial to funeral and cremation to um, direct cremation. Most providers offer that. You're going to have to, number one, select a provider that's going to be transparent with you enough to reveal everything that all of that includes. You don't want to get a quote and then you come back in and the bill is almost double. You
Okay.
need to be informed. Another thing is you need to basically stay in your budget. A
Okay.
lot of people do not understand, and my clients, those that may be watching, can attest to this. Even with casket choices, You can go get a casket from Costco and other places, Walmart, Sam's. There's something called the GPL that the Federal Trade Commission requires everyone that owns a funeral home in the United States to reveal. And what a price list is basically like a menu. You go to Longhorn, you see every service and product that they offer. Funeral homes also have the option to provide packages. And since so many are doing that, a lot of the consumers are thinking that, well, I can go get my own casket and bring it. Yes, you can. But you're going to end up spending more because now the funeral home can itemize the bill, which is going to cost you more. Or you can select a casket that they offer, which is included in the package, and save money. Another thing that is important, and I can't remember exactly how it's stated, so I'll paraphrase.
Okay.
We are not allowed to tell you that a casket or a vault will protect the body. Okay, we don't know what's going on under that ground or in the wall. What I can tell you is you're going to pay a whole lot more money getting a so-called sealed casket just for a look. It's sealed by a rubber gasket. And just to see the funeral home down there cranking it airtight, that does not necessarily guarantee that your loved one's body is safe. But what I can tell you is if that body is in a casket that is non-sealed, that is in a vault, that is sealed because concrete is porous, air can naturally flow across the body and the body will dehydrate or basically mummify versus what can happen in a sealed unit. Nevertheless, let me get back on topic. It's important to plan how you want to dispose of your body when you leave so you don't leave that burden on your family. Number one, you need to provide the means to do that. Then number two, you need to give them guidance on what you would like done. Because the worst thing you can do is close your eyes and leave your family, number one, wondering, how do we prepare for your memorial? Then number two, how do we finance it?
Right. Well, yeah, that's a lot. And so I remember you and I speaking about shame on me because I didn't know when you told me, you said, well, Corey, do you have a pre-need? I said, a what? I'm thinking, well, I'm working, do I have a will or do I have no, I didn't quite finish that. And so a lot of times I used to hear my mom say, I used to say this, I said, oh, it's nothing to do. And she said, son, there's always something to do. You may not want to do it, but I can remember when she passed away and you handled a lot of those arrangements. And again, thank you so much for what you did for my family. But everything with her was, it was taken care of. Her obituary was written out. It just did not have a date. And
I'm sorry.
And it was like a lot of that was just a burden. It was hard, but it was a burden lifted off of me and my brothers because all we had to do was pretty much just type it up.
Ms. Ward was one of those people who was properly prepared. And, as I stated, I remember meeting her parents. They seemed to be quite properly prepared. That type of knowledge is passed down from generation to generation. Somewhere there's a gap. And we just live as if we're not going to die. And if you die, you more than likely are going to go to a funeral home. Right. And you're going to put, and this is the thing, especially if you have children or a spouse, you need to have your stuff in order. Yeah. At least have the conversation. A responsible funeral director will give you all of the options that are available through the service that they provide. As I'm known for being one of the most transparent funeral directors. My clients say, ooh, when we went to such and such, they didn't tell us that.
I was just going to say, Lawrence, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I've been going to funerals with my grandmother since I was 12 years old, sitting in them rooms. And you have been one of the most transparent funeral directors I've ever, because you don't get this kind of information. And why do you think that?
I do it because this is what I know. You only get one time to do this with each individual that passes away. There's no redo. We can't go back and, well, we could, but most people don't go back and have another funeral because something was done or not done that they didn't know at first.
Right.
It's my job to make sure you know every option available. It's my job to make sure that that funeral is personalized to your loved one, their life. It's my job to make sure that you do it in an economical way. I mean, yeah, we have $30,000, $40,000 funerals, but also accept the $3,500 if that's what they can afford. Because my thing is, I don't like to do payment plans. I don't want to have to go back to a family. Hey, you owe me some money. I've taken a lot of losses doing that. But more importantly, I need to find something that'll fit what they can afford. And I'm going to tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
What comes from the heart reaches the heart. How you treat people. I remember I had a client who lost their nephew.
Mm-hmm.
They had no way to finance that. All they wanted was cremation. I went ahead and took care of it. Didn't think anything else of it. The great aunt had told the family when she passed, she wanted to come to me. She had several policies because we handled her nephew in a dignified way. But they insisted on spending all of that policy on that great aunt's funeral because of the service we provided before. So, like I said, what comes from the heart reaches the heart. You tell people the truth, give them the best you got. Man, I don't even have to really advertise anymore.
Right.
My clients do it for me, and it's because I become sensitized to death. I don't want to ever become to the point where this is just strictly business. These are people. These are people that once lived.
Right.
And everybody in your care, you need to treat them like that. And the family can tell by the way you interact with them if your heart is really in it.
Right. That's true. That's some great information. And everybody who's watching live, who go back and watch the replays, make sure you go over to the website that is streaming here at the bottom of the screen. And I want to ask you something, Lawrence, too. Do you have information on the website about pre-arrangement?
We have some. Yeah, we do have some. We also offer life insurance. We offer pre-need. We offer trust, which people need to know the difference between all of that.
Right.
We're a full-service funeral home.
Okay.
We do not have a crematory, as most don't. We do have a crematory that we trust, that we use to provide that part of the service for us.
Okay. Right.
They can always call.
Right.
Usually you'll get me or Mr. Poe. He's
Okay.
another licensed funeral director and an embalmer here at the funeral home.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can get the information. You just got to pick up the phone or send us an email.
I like that. Okay. So you see the website, y'all. JacksonProfessionalFS.com is the website. Call Mr. Jackson if you have any questions or anything. You don't have to live in Montgomery. If you just are in the state of Alabama, if you have questions or you live in a different state, just give him a call. And I'm sure he'll be more than happy to assist you with anything. And something I wanted to ask you too, Lawrence, is it important, because when funeral services, people, I think, because they're emotional, right? And you see some people, they go in, they take the policies into these funeral homes, they take a whole bunch of stuff. Do they need to do that?
This is what I advise.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just me. I'm not speaking for every funeral director. And, I'm just going to say it because it's true. They've always said, don't take your policy to the funeral home. I can understand why. Because some people have made it so bad. Once some funeral homes and funeral directors realize what you have, they try to get all of it. And all of my clients can tell you, I have told them, I don't want to discuss how much you have. Let's discuss what you want. Let's see how we can accommodate. Let's come up with a number. Then you present it. And I'm going to tell you something, a lot of my clients, and then this is the difference between a lot of my Caucasian clients and my African-American clients. For a lot of that culture, they believe in just cremation. They have done their funeral at the hospital or at the house. Mm-hmm. They don't want to see the body again. Okay. They'll come here and write me a check for $18.95 to direct cremate, but then they want 30 death certificates. And I'm like, at first, like, kind of, wow, this is the thing. You got $250,000 in insurance here, 100,000 over there, because they realize that, number one, and I tell people this all the time, whether you cremate or bury that body, you're not going to see it again. Okay. It's about what you believe. It's about what you can afford. Right. And the thing is, you also need to know the difference between setting aside money for that purpose and then also setting aside a policy for the future of those that you have left behind. If we could get some, and we have a forum coming up in December, some of our insurance agents, attorneys, and cemetery folks, and of course, funeral home, we're going to do a session on final needs. There are some people that are not insurable because of age or health, and there are even options for them through pre-need and trust. Okay. You know, I mean, we could talk about this. I could tell you, it's just so much to it. Right. And people need to be informed.
Yeah, they really do. And, you know, I saw a comment with someone, Sherry said, it seems that people live like we're just not going to die.
Look, I done seen them die at funerals.
Wow.
You know, it's just the truth. I've seen them die in church. I've seen them die in the pulpit. Yeah. You know, death is not uncommon. It's just how much of it you've been exposed to. And we need to realize, especially those of us that have aged some, I'm not going to say it's too late for us, but the younger people, if you're going to bring children into the world, just as soon as they take their first breath, you need to be preparing for a funeral. Right. If you can get $25,000 in life insurance for $5 a month when your child is born, why not do that? And they have that whole life policy the rest of their life.
That's true.
But we wait till we 60 with diabetes and high blood pressure, overweight, you know, and all of these health issues to say, oh, I need some life insurance. Right. Oh, my cousin died. I need to get some life insurance. Right. It's not going to do you any good because you don't have the responsibility. It's not in you. That's what you need to get with someone that can teach you.
Right. And I think that we just need to have more conversations. I don't know if it's just the African American community. We don't want to talk about it.
No. It's not just the African American community. I think, like I said, we have a wide variety of clients. We have, just in my 5 years in business in this area, we've buried almost every race. Okay. And I've seen different things from every race. So it's not stereotypical. I see more in the African American because that's the majority of our clientele. Right. But people, Hispanic, Caucasian, Asian, whatever, you need to know and be informed on your options so that the worst thing you can do is come in here while you're upset. You're grieving, we're talking about a funeral, and you're lost. Right. I'm glad that my clients trust me. I trust me not to take advantage of them. Everybody's not like that. You can make a better, more conscious, informed decision when you have had this conversation before need, before somebody gets sick, before something happens unexpectedly, so that when it does, you can go in confidently, remind them of the paperwork that you filled out. This is what I want to do, and be done with it. Now, you have so much to do when you lose somebody. Right. And the worst thing you can do is be crying and worrying about how to pay for it. Right. And then after you've done that, you go home and you got a disconnect notice.
Wow. That's real, y'all. That's real. And I know sometimes it's scary. People, you know me, when you was like, oh, you should come by here and see the funeral home. I'm not coming in the funeral home. You know, people don't want to prepare and, you know, do these things. But go ahead.
I'm sorry. The advantage I have, I just turned 35 last week in my mind. But the advantage that I have, I'm not that creepy old man with all the gray hair walking slow up on people behind, walking up on them, scaring them. A lot of people see me and be like, you Mr. Jackson? I say, yeah, you can call me Lawrence. Right. I'm human, just like everybody else.
Right.
And I don't believe in falling into the mold of keeping everything so somber and slow, and the place is dimly lit, smelling like they think it smells like embalming fluid, but a lot of times that's just the flowers.
Right.
It really is. But yeah, it's how you present yourself to people.
That's true.
And a lot of people are not. I don't have anybody that I can think of that's afraid of me, especially once they find out that I'm a funeral director, because I'm still myself.
Right.
I just happen to be a funeral director.
That's true. That's true. Could you talk about, it was a comment there, could you talk a little bit more about the pre-need or the funeral contract?
The funeral contract. Okay, so the pre-need or the funeral contract, which one?
Both.
Okay, so the pre-need is when you come in and you get pre-need insurance. You get with our agents, they go over the products that are available. You pick one and you pay into that. That's what you do. Trust is kind of similar. You can give the funeral home your money, but by law, that funeral home is required to put that money into a trust. Reason being with that is, and I'm glad they do that, if you plan here, but you die in New York and you decide to stay in New York, that money is transferable wherever you are.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, if it's a trust. Concerning the funeral contract, the thing is with that, you can plan your funeral. Now, I can speak for us. Okay. I do know that most funeral homes, you can go in and plan now, and you die 10 years later, you're going to be at that cost then. With us, when we first opened, I'm glad I did it, but then I'm still having to honor it. Whatever you came in and selected, once we wrote up the contract, that was like a coupon.
Oh,
and
wow.
That price was the same at need. Everybody doesn't do that. So I guess in correlation, in trying to answer the question, for the funeral contract is an itemized list of all the services and products that you've selected.
Okay. Awesome. So when people come in, do you have a plan where is it like a basic funeral, just different packages that the funeral home offers?
Well, me personally, ain't nothing basic about Jackson.
Okay.
But we do have affordable options. I don't like to use, and I understand why you use that, Mr. Ward, why you said, because that's what people say, basic funeral. We have several packages, several options. I lean to say that they're affordable. Okay. I can get you a gold plated $60,000 casket if that's what you want.
Okay.
But at the same time, I can get you an $1,800 gold painted casket that would give you the same effect because you're only going to see it. And that's the thing. I like to make money. I like to sell funerals. I like to work with families. But I just strongly believe that after it's over, you still got to live.
Right.
And that's the thing we're not understanding. Forget all the pomp and circumstance. Do not put all of your money in the ground.
Right. That's true. That's true. I like how you said that. Another question I have for you. What inspiration, I know this has been a lifelong dream for you to own your own funeral home. And I'm going to tell this real quick story. One day, Lawrence and I, he wanted to go by a funeral home here in Montgomery. And me being just clueless, right? And he's like, oh, take me by this, I heard about this funeral home. And so I wasn't paying attention. And I think the guy said, well, hey, you want to see what room did he say?
I don't know, but be careful.
Right. It's like, he said, you want to see this particular room? I had no idea what that was.
It was the embalming room. It was the embalming room.
Yeah. In the embalming room, and my eyes got so, it's like, I didn't know where we were going. I was just blown away. I just couldn't believe that. And you were so excited about that, though.
Well, you know what fascinates me, and forgive me if some may consider this arrogant, but I was always told it's a poor frog that doesn't croak in their own pond. Okay. If you can't salute yourself because life will bring you upon some things that you don't know what you can do till you have to do it.
All right.
And then you realize that you're awesome at it.
Right.
I believe in giving people their dignity back.
Oh yeah, you do.
I've had a lot of clients, which there are many other good professionals. I can only speak for myself and my staff here.
Right.
We ain't gonna be able to show them. We just ain't. I'm that dude that's going to work, Mr. Poe as well. We're going to work. I will put that body in front of the camera and go home because I'm tired. And I'll go back in my phone. I'm looking at the cameras and I'll see something that I need to change and get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and come back up here and change it, because I know this. When that family walks in to see their loved one for the first time, we call that a first inspection. When they walk in to see their loved one for the first time, you can't undo what they see.
That's true.
You can have 3 or 4 funerals. You can do an Aretha Franklin, change clothes every day for a week. They're never going to forget what they first saw when they walked in. So I feel it's my job, number one, to give them the best that I got, because one day I got to die. And I want to look good.
All right. That's true.
But nevertheless, when I'm serving families, I don't think about just making the money and getting them out the door. We're not an assembly line. We've at times had to deny a family, and that doesn't happen that often because, again, what comes from the heart reaches the heart. I'll say, look, we got 2 or 3 this day. I cannot do it.
Right.
Mr. Jackson, as long as you're going to do it, we'll move it to Tuesday. We'll go the next week. I don't want to overexert myself, and I can't give you the quality and service that you deserve.
Right.
But nevertheless, back to my point, I know that when we die, we can't help. Most cases, we can't help how we leave here.
Right.
And in order to give them their dignity back, it's our responsibility. They can't dress themselves. They can't apply their own makeup if they need it, do their own hair, whatever. And seeing the body for a lot of people is the starting process of closure for them. It's the hardest, one of the hardest, but it starts the closure. If you don't do that right, you're going to give that family a horrible experience. My job is to take the pain and the look of death away.
Right.
And I believe that if most funeral homes did that, rather than just make it a service to make money,
right,
they'd be better rated.
Right. We appreciate that too. We really do. Do you offer do you offer services for veterans?
We do. We have discounts for veterans, actually.
Okay.
We do.
So
and police, civil people as well, police, fire department.
Okay. So just give your office a call.
That's it.
Just give you a call. My last question for you too, and again, thank you so much. This was some great information. We need you to come back on the show so we can have a second part to this conversation.
Well, I appreciate that. I do.
We need to have another part to this. So my question is, what's been the most difficult decision that you've had to make to pursue your destiny?
The most difficult decision that I've had to make. What was the last part?
To pursue your destiny.
I had to give up a lot of living. I won't say that was difficult. I knew what I wanted.
Right.
I knew who I wanted to be.
Okay.
I'm still not there yet, but I'm tracking that way.
I got
a lot of the trips that I wanted to take, a lot of the sleep that I wanted to get, a lot of the parties I wanted to go to, I had to pick. If I wanted to buy me a BMW X6, I had to choose between that and taking care of the needs of the business.
Right.
Until the business got to the point to where it could take care of my needs. So as far as a difficult decision, I only feel like I didn't live as much as others. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I would have made it out had I been able to do those things.
Right.
So I won't even say it was difficult. I'll just say my path has been my path.
The path. Oh, wow. I love that. Again, ladies and gentlemen, President, CEO, this brother has the it factor. And if you don't know Mr. Jackson, I'm telling you, shame on you. Shame on you for not knowing it. Lawrence, again, thank you so much. Will you come back on the show?
Of course.
We appreciate, and let people know what's the best place to find you on social media.
Well, unfortunately, my original page got hacked. So I created another set of pages for the funeral home and my personal page. You can look me up under Lawrence Jackson. You'll see me and my beautiful mom usually as one of the photos. You can also go to the funeral home page and find us there. We live stream from both Facebook pages. You got to help me. Maybe you can help me with the YouTube thing.
Okay.
Getting that, because I don't know how to stream both at the same time.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's how you get us.
Okay. Again, that's right. Again, Lawrence Jackson Professional Services. Again, he doesn't just serve Alabama, y'all. You got Georgia, you got Louisiana, Mississippi. Am I missing somewhere else?
Florida, Tennessee.
Okay. Tennessee.
Yeah, we've been all in places.
With all those places. And you know, he's a music director too. So if you need him to come sing at a funeral or whatever,
I'm tired of doing workshops. Stop. No. I'm already scheduled out for the rest of the year, man.
So we have a lot of comments also on this. People said, thank you so much. This was so much needed. The information you gave was priceless. You know.
Well, thank you. And Mr. Ward, let me share this with you. For those that may live out of state or out of town, now I'll spend some time with them and try to guide them or recommend them a funeral home that I think is as comparable and transparent as we are. But tell them to just call.
Okay. Just
call. And if it's not me, call who you trust.
Okay.
You know, and you won't know anything until you actually make that move, because I'm like they say some attorneys chase ambulances. I don't chase bodies. Right. You know, I believe if you call, you want the information, I'll give it to you. And then you're left with an informed decision.
Wow. That's true. That's true. And I'm going to take care of my business too, Lord. I'm going to take care. I know I've been saying that over and over and over again. But
yeah, because I don't want to have, when Ms. Ward passed, that hurt me too. Yeah. And you don't want to leave your family. It would be a great loss to many family members and friends should you decide to take a nap.
Right.
So get it right.
Get it right. Again, thank you so much for coming on the show. Can you stick around for a minute?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much. Oh, wow, guys. Another great show, another great conversation. Again, I'm Jazzie K. Ward. Thank you all so much for your support. Don't forget to support Jackson Professional Services President and CEO, Mr. Lawrence Jackson Jr. Please make sure you share this video. JacksonProfessionalFS.com is the website. Please go over, share, go over to K Ward Radio, my YouTube channel, subscribe. KWardRadio.com is my website. If you would like to send me some information, my address and all of that is posted there. If you would like to support the show, my PayPal, Cash App, all of that information is there as well. You can join me, as always, each and every Saturday on WVAS FM 90.7. Thank you so much. And please, that's right, subscribe. Thank you all so much. Join me back here on next week, on next Monday, where we'll have another special guest. Make sure you take care of yourself and be kind to others. We'll see you next time.
Hi, this is saxophonist D. Lucas, and you have just watched Artist Talk with my man, Jazzie K. Ward. Hey, check him out every Monday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on his Facebook Live or YouTube. And if you don't, shame on you.
Artist Talk. It's the Jazzie K. Ward coming at ya.